one, here's what taken place. After the vision struck me and I was so weak, and I lost all that blood, and once I thought I was sinking into a endless eternity. Many of you have heard me tell this before. And sinking into an endless eternity. First I was going through like clouds, and then through darkness, and sinking on down, down, down. And the first thing you know, I got into the regions of the lost. And in there, I screamed. And I looked, and there just everything, there was no foundation to it. I could never stop falling. For eternity looked like I was going to fall. There's no stopping nowhere. And then, what a difference it was from the vision I had here not long ago of being in glory with the people. The contrast. But in this, as I was falling, I screamed for my daddy. Of course, being just a kid, that's what I would do. I screamed for my daddy. And my daddy wasn't there. And I screamed for my mother. Somebody catch me. There was no mother there. I was just going. And I screamed then to God. There was no God there. There was nothing there. And after a while, I heard the most mournful sound that I ever heard. And it was the awfulest feeling. There's no way even a literal burning fire would be a pleasure to the sight of what this was. Now, those visions has never been wrong. And it was just one of the most horrible feelings I ever had. And what did I heard? A noise sound like some kind of a haunted affair. And when it was, I looked coming, and it was women. And they had green stuff. You just see their face. And they had green stuff under their eyes, and their eyes looked like run back, like the women today paint their eyes. Run back like that, and just their eyes and face, and they were going, oh my, I just screamed out, oh God, have mercy upon me. Have mercy, oh God, where are you? If you'll only let me go back and live, I promise you to be a good boy. Now that's the only thing I could say. Now God knows, and at the day of judgment, He'll judge me for that statement. That's what I said. Lord God, let me go back, and I'll promise you I'll be a good boy. And when I got shot, I had told lies. I had done pretty near everything there was to be done. Only one thing that I said, I might as well just clean it out while I'm right here now. And when I looked down and seen I was half blowed in two almost, I said, God, have mercy on me. You know I never did commit adultery. That's the only thing that I could say to God. I never accepted His pardon and all these things. I just could say I never did commit adultery. And then they've taken me out there. And then in that I cried, God, be merciful to me. I'll be a good boy if you'll only let me go back. For I knew there was a God somewhere. And so help me, those wearied creatures all around. I'd just been a new arrival. In the most hideous, horrible, ungodly feeling in that, looked like great big eyes, the big eyelashes out like that, and run back like a cat, like back like this, and green stuff, and like it cankered or something. And they were going, oh, what a feeling. Now then in a moment's time, I'd come back to natural life again. That thing has bothered me. I thought, oh, let it be that I'll never go to a place like that. No other human being will ever have to go to a place like that. 7 months later, I had the vision of standing in the west and seeing that gold cross coming down upon me. And I knew that there was a regions of the damned somewhere. Now, I never noticed it too much until about 4 weeks ago. The wife never thought of it in this terms. About 4 weeks ago, the wife and I went down to Tucson to do some shopping. And while we were sitting, the wife, we went in downstairs, and there was a bunch of sissy-like boys, had their hair ratted, like the women does, and bangs combed down here in front, and these real high trousers on, kind of, I guess, the beat necks or what you call them. And they were in there, and everybody's looking at them, and their heads is that big like the women that wears these here water head haircuts, you know. And they were down there, and a young woman come by, and she said, "What do you think about that?" I said, "Then you ought to be ashamed of yourself, if you can think that." I said, "He has just as much right to do it as you do. Neither one of you have a right." So I went upstairs, and I sat down, and when I did, there's an escalator. It was in J.C. Penney's store, and the escalator bringing the people up. Well, I really turned sick at my stomach, seeing those women come up there, young, old, and indifferent, wrinkled, young, in every way, with little bitty shorts on, their filthy body, and those sexy dressed women with those great big heads, like that. And here they come, and one coming right up that escalator is coming right up like that, where I was sitting back in a chair, sitting there with my head down, and I turned and looked, and one of them coming up the steps was saying, Spanish speaking, to another woman. She was a white woman speaking to the Spanish woman. And when I looked, all of at once I was changed. There I'd seen that before. Her eyes, you know how the women are doing now, painting their eyes just recently like cat, you know, put it up like this, and wearing cat glasses and everything, you know, with eyes up like this. And that green stuff there in their eyes, there was that thing that I seen when I was a child. There was the woman, just exactly. And I just got numb all over and began to look around. And there was those people mumbling, you know, going on about the prices and things in the building. And I just looked like it. I just changed for a moment. And I looked and I thought, that's what I saw in hell. There they was, that canker. I thought because they were in hell, what made them that way, a greenish blue under their eyes. And here was these women painted with greenish blue, just the way that vision said about 40 years ago. See? About 40 years ago is what it's been. I'm 54. I was 14. So about 40 years ago, and that's the number anyhow of the judgment, you see. Now, I'd seen that, and I couldn't even speak to my wife when she come. She's over there trying to get Sarah and the kids something kind of a dress or something for school. And I couldn't even speak to her. She said, "Bill, what's the matter with you?" I said, "Honey, I'm almost a dead man." And she said, "What's the matter? Are you sick?" I said, "No. Something's just happened." Now, she don't know. She's waiting for this tape to return. I've never said it to nobody. I thought I'd wait, as I promised, bring it to the church first. Okay? Bring it to the church. And that's my promise. And you'll realize after tonight, reason I'll try to keep my promise. I thought then, as I noticed them cankered looking eyes on them women. There were the Spanish, the French, and Indian, and white, and all together, but that great big heads, you know, bushed up with that combs where they comb it back, way big, and then comes out, you know how they do it, fix it in like they do it, and then them cankered looking eyes, and the eyes with a paint that run back like a cat's eyes. And them talking, and there I was again, standing there in J.C. Penney's store, back in hell again. I got so scared, I thought, Lord, surely I haven't died, and you've let me come to this place after all. And there they were, making just around like that, in that vision, like you could just barely hear it with your ears, you know, just the mumbling going on with people, and them women coming up that escalator and walking around there, and there's them green and funny-looking eyes, mournful. Wife come up, and I said, "Just let me alone a minute, honey." I said, "If you don't mind, I want to go home." And she said, "Are you sick?" I said, "No. Just go ahead, honey, if you got any shopping to do." She said, "No, I'm finished." And I said, "Let me take you by the arm." See? I walked, I said,